We are HTLA Radio 1. You will lower your shields and prepare to be boarded. We will add to your distinctiveness, your advertisers, and your sponsors to our own. Resistance is futile.
It's Monday, and this is Straight Talk with Kate and Crash on HTLA Radio 1 New York. Oh, that was nice. We got that in stereo.
Und unison, ja.
Yes. And we'd like to welcome you to our pre-New Year's Eve bash. This is the very last Straight Talk of 2013.
It is, and I'm really kind of excited about it because, many reasons, but not the least of which is tonight we are coming at you through no help of anybody else.
No, we are independently independent. We are launching completely free and clear of anything except broadcasting from the HTLA Radio 1 studios.
That's right. We are all raw, uncensored, and live.
That's right. All of our own studio equipment, no internet,
helpers,
nothing.
crutches.
Right, exactly. None of those third-party listening devices of any kind.
What I like to refer to as the HTTP teat.
Right, that's right. He does. That's right. We've gone from the teat.
We're off the teat.
We are off the teat.
We should actually start something like BlogTalk or Spreaker and call it teat.
Wouldn't that be so awesome?
Everybody sign up and, are you
Get
on the teat? Yeah.
That's right. Wow.
We're broadcasting on the teat.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well,
the exceptionality of us having complete and full creative control of our products now is that we have complete and full creative control of our products.
Absolutely. And although it is a hell of a lot more work for me.
Yes, and Daddy hates editing and post. Everything. Even pictures. Pictures, audio, film, you name it, he hates editing.
I long for the teat.
Yes, that's right. And I told him I would do it, but I don't have his patience or his critical eye, so it's never good enough.
No, that's correct.
I'm glad you admit
But anyway, where is what we're doing here?
Well, I've not brought it up because I figured let's go independent and just, wing jam.
Oh, really? This coming from the writer?
Teasing.
Oh, we don't need the script tonight.
Yeah.
No. We're independent of those damned writers.
That's right. No, last week I was mad at him because he didn't stick to the script.
He's mad at me.
No.
Well, hey, this is HTLA Radio 1, the world's best talk radio on the world's first, all brilliantly exceptional, all utterly original talk entertainment programming.
Ever.
That's
right. And now complete and totally. That's right.
Totally.
That's right.
Totally.
Now, keep in mind that next week, I'm not quite sure if next week's first show will be, but beginning with next week's show, our guests will be coming back, and we've got a pretty big lineup this season, actually. So, as I like to say, bigger celebs, more notable noteworthies, and stronger social impact than ever. In fact, next week's show is pretty much going to turn the entire planet on its ear because I'm getting on my soapbox as I had done in the past. And, you kind of mellow when you're pregnant and you're going through the baby thing and the mommy thing and you want to be all maternal and such and all nurturing and everything.
We do?
So, I did. So, for the last year and a half, I've been very PC and very lovey-dovey and all that stuff.
No.
Yeah. But I have to get back to what made Straight Talk the, social mecca of stuff that it is. And that is the fact that it's unvarnished and unfettered truth that, our hard-won experience and life lessons and education and et cetera have provided us that we feel obligated to share.
It's unvarnished, Meeps.
That's right. That's it. We don't have sheeps. We have meeps, and our meeps are not sheeps, and they're not sheeps because they listen to us.
That's right.
That's absolutely right, and yes, that is true.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
So now I'd like to add that we are streaming live through our video uplink.
That's right.
See, we're completely independent here, gang.
That's right.
It's all us. Yeah, all the time.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
And now we're streaming also, and that's it. No, obviously we're still bound by the good manners of FCC protocol and such. But
well, we observe those anyway, even though we don't have to.
Right. Well, that's because we're the founders of NABE.
NABE is the National Association of Internet Broadcasters.
That's right.
That's right.
Founded by the Taylors in what, 2011?
2011, yes. That's right.
True. So
and this is cool because, we're in our studio. There's nobody here to be PC to. We can smoke, we can drink, we can have sex. Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir.
And, keeping within, FCC guidelines and all that.
Right.
Of course.
Absolutely.
So we can have pretend rumpy bumpy HBO actor sex.
We're streaming, so,
Whoa.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
I just went to grab, I forgot we were streaming, but we've gotten our new mugs for 2014.
Right.
And we've yet to show them on Webisode yet. So this
lens.
year, Daddy's got a camera lens because that's what he does. And because I am in dire need of all manners of assistance. My coffee mug is a giant prescription mug of coffee.
Okay. Quality control here. Your microphone's actually over there. I'm going to need you to pay attention to that because we're actually doing the radio show.
I know. Then you shouldn't have done the streaming, or you should switch the camera because you know how I feel about that. But all right.
All right, fine.
No, it's quite all right. I'll manage.
Anywho, if I'm not mistaken, we have a bunch of
station business for Daddy to take care of because that's his job.
Right.
So.
Well, I'm glad you asked.
Well, that's about tonight's show, right?
Yes.
So, yes.
Well, tonight, there won't be a shortage of things to talk about tonight.
No,
that's for sure.
No, sir.
All right.
Yes, we're going loud and proud.
What do we got lined up for tonight's show, there, dear?
Well, since it's the last show of 2013, and within the next week or so, we're going to be rolling out our new show, The Lifestyle.
Oh.
We've decided, since we're not going to be PC like everybody else anymore anyway, that we'll talk a little bit about the Lifestyle show that's going to be broadcast starting in the new year and what it is, what it means to us, how it came about, the relevance to our life, to HTLA as a whole, and all these kind of things like that. And yeah, and if we don't get shut down because of this show, then
well, no, we're not going to get shut down.
No,
absolutely not. The FCC can just go and bite us. But
no, they wouldn't.
The interesting thing to note is today it was announced that New York City's last progressive, quote unquote,
yes,
radio station's going under.
Right.
That's right, all you LGBTers out there. Your gay-friendly radio station is going bye-bye to, for lack of anything else, the lack of advertisers.
That's right.
And it's interesting to note that shows like Howard Stern, also in New York, through Sirius XM, are on the rise as far as their money-making this year. In fact, they're at all-time highs this year at their half-year report. So it's going to be interesting to see after the 1st of January what they continue to report their revenues to be. But I find it an excellent opportunity because HTLA has never been one to, climb on anybody's bandwagon or pull anybody's chains just to make them feel good. We have always put it like it is.
That's right. Well, that's the beauty of being independent and being able to do that. And, adhering to our own code, too.
Sure.
We don't... we may not be PC, but, we're pretty all around, well-rounded and cool and honest and authentic. I think that's the thing. We're authentic. Like, we won't say that anything you're doing is wrong if it's right for you.
Right.
But we certainly aren't going to negate our own rights and traditions and theories and opinions and things of that nature either.
No.
Because like strapping on a bomb and walking into a school is wrong, and you might think it's right for you, but we're certainly going to say how sucky we think that is. That kind of thing. But,
Yeah.
Right.
I like it. So anyway, in that vein, we've decided to make the last show of Straight Talk 2013 to, I'm going to leave it to you to open that up because
I'm the writer.
You're eloquent and more something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, as everybody knows, we live a traditional lifestyle in our marriage, in our family, in our home, and we go with that other extreme that we engage in a 24/7 power exchange relationship. So that's what our new show, The Lifestyle, is going to be about. The Lifestyle is going to explore the many worlds of kink, the many lives of kink, and it's going to start out with our traditional, power exchange relationship, but we're also going to have many guests, esteemed guests too, like the highest in level of, whatever that particular proclivity is for that week. So, right.
Proclivity.
Yes, sir.
It's a good name.
So, there's a lot of stigma and a lot of hang-ups about a lot of things in the lifestyle, and I get enraged when everything is about, look, I'm not saying that, gay rights aren't a valid thing or whatever it is, but it's all it's about. And it just, it gets nauseating after a while. There's so many other people out there that aren't screaming for parades and just want to be able to live there, whatever it is,
It's interesting on a couple of levels. I got a lot to say about this because I, like you, before we met each other, we had a lot of friends who were gay. You actually had a friend that you grew up with who was a lesbian.
That's right. Best friend. Yeah.
And keep in mind, folks, this was back in the days when it wasn't okay.
No.
Okay?
Right. We don't want to say how old we are, but we're older than you.
Yeah.
So, probably.
So, with that, and in addition to that, I've had my friends. I've had gay friends from 14, 15 years old, too. Mm-hmm. And, when all of this stuff kind of got rolling, when all this started, I sort of thought to myself, why is their life so tough? I haven't heard from my friends going, oh, the oppression, I simply can't stand it. They're not walking around the streets in rags with no shoes.
No.
Okay. They eat the same food.
Right.
They go to the same schools.
That's right.
They get the same cable internet.
Mm-hmm.
They can buy all the things that they want to buy.
There was no cable internet back then.
Well, whatever it was. Their own cable vision.
There you go.
Back in the black and white TV
Their own
days.
rabbit ears.
But you know what I mean? Like, in day-to-day operation of
life. Gay
people.
Yes.
No,
mm-hmm.
not life.
Oh, okay.
Gay people.
Gay life. Okay.
Okay.
Gay people life. Right. Mm-hmm.
They weren't severely impinged. They weren't, that... I never, ever saw once a gay person sitting there crying because they had,
in all fairness, you grew up in and around the Vancouver area, and I grew up in and around the New York City area, so it was actually more prevalent to see gay bashings and such where I was. If you weren't in the village, thank you, sir, then, you were at risk of whatever it was, even still. It's a little more accepted, but it's not really. It's it's a mirage.
I think it is, and it's funny because when all
just
these...
like equal rights is a mirage.
Well, that's a complete fallacy is what that is.
Right. There's no such thing as real feminism. You can say there is, but they still don't get paid as much. And, men still expect their women to raise the kids and do these things, even if they begrudgingly share in the household duties and stay at home sometimes. On the rare occasions that, you have someone that's grown up perhaps not completely healthy and traditionally, and so they have issues with their own manhood.
Right.
Then they're okay with feminist partners, and that's but that's a whole nother show. We're going to be doing that too.
As far as the feminism thing goes, the only thing that they've really accomplished is make men feel like insignificant little imps in their own home.
That's it.
They're not getting paid more at work. They're not getting better jobs.
Mm-hmm. No,
you show me one instance where a woman has gotten a better job than a man. It's not happened.
No.
That they don't get the same pay. So.
And it's proven. We don't just make this stuff up.
No, we're not making this up. But, that they tout all these victories and they have all these rights and everything now. And what do they really got?
Right.
They got a bunch of men who don't know how to be men anymore.
That's right.
They've got
look at society.
Homes all broken up. They've got kids that are just on their own to learn things like values and morals
that they don't have because nobody's home to teach them.
And I've had this conversation with other people on other radio shows when I've guested on their shows, and they use the argument, well, if the mom and dad, are both working, then, there's dinner time and whatnot. You're not dealing with reality when you say that, because when those people get home from competing with each other all day for the check,
right. Oh my goodness,
they're too bloody tired to even cook your kid dinner.
That's right.
So don't tell me they're going to sit down on the couch with you and go, okay, well, here is value number one. It's not going to happen.
Mm-mm.
Okay? So that's what we've accomplished. And then you look at that and you think, okay, well, how is that an accomplishment?
Exactly. Well, like I said, just look at the state of society today. In every other country besides this one, where patriarchal structure is still, I don't care what you say about Europe, the patriarchal structure remains. It's always been that way. It always will be.
Right.
They just don't have the level of crime and stuff that we have. They just don't have that. They have their stuff because they've tried to be, progressive, et cetera, et cetera. But the majority is still much more secure and much more whole than we could ever even hope to be. So, and that's because, they might have two parents that work, but at the core of it, there's grandparents there. There's patriarchal structure there. The school system there is still very strict and traditional.
Sure.
And unlike we have here, so. But yeah, that's just the way it is. So I guess in 2013 going out, we're bringing in that we're not hiding our feelings about this matters anymore, about the way we feel.
And why should we? Because some of these groups that we're talking about have gone leaps and bounds to ensure that we all get a fair say.
That's right.
It's funny and interesting to note, though, that
as long as
our side of the equation never seems to get out anywhere.
That's right. If you're traditional, then, well, we already know how you think, so don't even bother opening your mouth. Well, no, you don't, because now when you're trying to give me Santa Claus that's a penguin and banning Christmas trees in schools, that I can't give my 14-month-old son a traditional Christmas, that he'll never know the Christmases that we grew up with, or even the generation before has been lucky enough to grow up with, if they've been lucky enough. Well, then I'm not keeping my mouth shut anymore.
Well, and that's interesting, too, because now you got to sit here and ask yourself, okay, so we fought for all these rights. We've got all these rights for all these specialty groups, but now what you're saying is
I'm
that
a minority, yeah.
the rights that were once bestowed upon that which was the great white hope, all the Italians, the Scottish, the Norwegians, the Vikings, the
Europeans.
All the Europeans that made up America.
That's right.
Now we've all been broken down into such small subcategories and LGBTs and me and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
What's left is the white traditionalist is a tiny, 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 tiny fragment now, because a lot of whites that were in that category have been taken up by the gays and taken up by the bisexuals and taken up by the transgenders and taken up by the tortoiseshells or whatever. Oh, transsexuals.
Right.
the traditionalists, I guess, are this little kind of micro sliver of the pie now.
Right.
So they don't matter.
Now, we need to just qualify something here. My brother is a transsexual, and my husband has a dear friend who has a family member who's a transgender. Like I said, we've both been involved in the gay community for most of our lives. We both had experiences. We're not like that. We're not,
Yeah, we're not just the standard white people going, them gays is bad,
yeah,
right?
We're not religious. We're very open, obviously, in our tastes and our things.
Sure.
And
well, considering our predilection, which is actually what this show is about tonight,
right.
We're the last ones to talk about a prejudice on a minority.
Right. Well, especially, right, because now...
And that's why there's still a bunch of black people who are friends of mine, even though the things I say about the black movement as a whole.
Right. Well, they can't negate them. It's the same reason that I'll meet any feminist in the world, and the minute I present my point of view about feminism...
Right.
They have to agree. Because it's all factual. It's not just me spewing because I'm a feminine versus a feminist.
And that was a former CEO of Time Warner, I might add.
That's right. She was. And, yeah.
Not a peep out of her.
Nope.
Peep.
Nope. And everyone else that I've brought this up with, you can't negate that fact.
Well, I hate to break this up, but we're going to have to go for a commercial break. So stick with us, gang. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
With 160 more miles per tank, the distances aren't getting shorter. The trucks are going farther. The new 2013 Ram 1500. With the best-in-class fuel economy, engineered to move heaven and earth. Guts, glory, Ram.
At LG, we dreamed of a day when you could rely on the perfect kitchen. We dreamed of a day when a dishwasher wouldn't require any pre-rinsing, when a refrigerator could be uniquely designed for better access and storage, when a washer could save 20 minutes on larger loads, and an oven would take minutes to clean instead of hours. And for you, that day is now.
The world is facing one of the biggest crises in the history of history. Girls are getting hotter and hotter. This is causing guys to lose their cool. It's happening everywhere. That's why the people at Axe have developed the new Axe Chill collection. It helps guys keep their cool before it's too late. Girls are getting hotter. Keep your cool with the new Chill collection from Axe.
Have I got a treat for you? New clean whipped cream foundation from CoverGirl. A delicious new recipe whipped up by Clean Makeup. They took their clean, fresh foundation, added a dash of hydration, then whipped it to smooth, matte perfection. Finally, a non-drying whip that wears like a dream. What a treat from Clean. New clean whipped cream from easy, breezy, beautiful CoverGirl.
And we're back.
We are, just like that. 1, 2, 3.
Just like that.
Oh,
1, 2,
yeah.
3. Might have been 2 minutes to you, but we have the control of time space here in our studio.
Yes, we do.
And it was just a millifraction of that time for us.
A millifraction.
That's right. Or if I have to go to the ladies' room, it can be an extended...
Okay, well, I'll stick to the professional end here. You are listening to HTLA Radio 1 New York at HTLA973.com. You got to keep an eye out for our new domain and website coming soon.
So exciting.
It is shaping up.
Oh, I'm so excited. You're going to love it.
Yeah. Jabba? Yeah. Flash? Yeah.
It's going all progressive just like us, like everything else. And how ironic that as traditional and retro as we are, we're also the most progressive and cutting edge when it comes to stuff.
It is kind of interesting.
Well, I believe everything goes around again, too. That's why, maybe.
I prefer to think of us as Renaissance people.
Love it.
Renaissance
Love.
People. There we go.
Right.
So you are listening to Straight Talk with Kate and Crash on the last show of 2013 at HTLA here.
I can't say I'll be sad to see this year go.
No. It was a grand poobah of years.
It was. Brutal.
So, we are actually, our show topic tonight happens to be our lifestyle. Mm-hmm. And what is that lifestyle, you may ask? Because the first segment, we've mostly devoted it to talking about gays and gay marriage and gay rights.
That's not our lifestyle.
No, well, your microphone's over there, so
right, yes, sir. Sorry,
why don't you tell them what our lifestyle is?
Oh, okay, so I get the grandpa. Well, anybody that knows us, that's a follower of us, knows that we engage in a traditional, power exchange relationship where, daddy's the boss and I'm not, and that's just the way it goes. We engage in a dominant and submissive lifestyle and domestic discipline and all that good stuff. And of course, none of it is religious based, as so many of the groups that are claiming to be into this sort of thing are. We were
right.
I mean, I've been like this my entire life. Daddy's only recently discovered his inner dom, since marrying me, and first time in his life having permission to do so. But yeah, that's pretty much it, and that's the way it is, and it's the way we do everything. It's not, just in the bedroom. It's our 24/7 lifestyle, and that's just the way it is.
Right.
Right. And the show, The Lifestyle, was actually born because, we needed to have sources and find other couples like us, that lived in this way and that, we can have a relationship with that we could, because it's just like any marriage or any other thing, it's got its own, issues that go along with it particularly. And while I might have engaged in this lifestyle in a play way my whole life, this is my first lifestyle relationship 24/7 as well. So, we're in the same boat together when it comes to that. And, we both are exploring and finding what works for us, etc. So we looked everywhere. And we were particularly interested to find that there were only 2 radio shows out of the bazillions of podcasts, etc. on the web related to the DS lifestyle.
Yeah.
And that's incredibly shocking to me, considering the mainstream nature everything is going to. I mean, Gabrielle Reese came out as living a traditional submissive lifestyle with her husband. We all know Rihanna's into it. She did a whole album about it. I mean, everybody's coming out now, if that's what you can call it,
I guess that seems to be the key phrase.
Right. So, we were doing it, though, long before 50 Shades of Grey and long before this sort of thing was popular.
Sure.
And so we only found 2 shows out of all those bazillions. One, I hate to say, is hosted by a dom who sounds like a little girl, so nobody's taking him seriously. And especially, we don't believe there's any right and wrong in this lifestyle. Whatever works for you two as a couple works for you, and that's cool. But, when you have a radio show and you say, well, the way you're doing it is wrong, then we get mad and we have an issue with that and stuff, too. Because, well, I guess we're purists about it as well. And it might be because of our age and because we're married and the seriousness of our life and relationship as a whole. So, it's the lifestyle's kind of sacrosanct to us, too. So when you mess around with it in a play way and you don't take the things that we take seriously, it kind of is annoying, and,
sure.
And, it kind of makes us feel like, oh, I don't know, like I don't know, whatever the word is. But so the things that they were discussing were just completely silly, and we couldn't even take that show seriously. And then there's another one hosted by a supposed, oh God, feminist Dommy.
Yes, the doctor.
She's got a PhD, and supposedly, and she's a feminist, self-proclaimed feminist, and she's a dom, which I like to call female doms dommies because they're just dumb to me. But anyway, so yeah, well, that's my opinion.
I call them bull dykes.
Yeah, right. Well, that works too. But, yeah. So, and again, everything she spouted on the show that I listened to last night was just utter ridiculousness. Just like complete and total utter ridiculousness. It's just a platform for her feminist agendas, etc. So,
Right.
So that's it. So we decided to come up with a show called The Lifestyle, and it's The Many Lives of Kink. And of course, it's going to, we play host to it in our power exchange relationship lifestyle way. But we also every week have guests with different predilections, things that we don't have any idea about, but we're curious about too. And we want you to know, our listeners, that it's okay. Whatever you're into is okay. So yeah.
Well, yeah, and there's some pretty whack stuff out there.
Oh, and you're going to go right to the anal suspension, aren't you?
Well, not directly to the anal suspension, but definitely full body suspension. I was quite interested to know that has been going on a heck of a lot longer than I've ever known about.
Oh gosh, sure. Vlad, back to Vlad.
Well, sure, and the people that do it are probably some of the most interesting people I think I've ever met. Mm-hmm. Just in terms of their overall personality,
sure.
just to talk to them. So, Kate and I both felt that, our lifestyle aside, the lifestyle show was going to be something that is, well, I guess much like Real Talk, a completely unique creation,
right,
from HTLA that nobody else has done or can even think about doing. I mean,
right,
Dr. What's-Her-Face there. From that unnamed show, they only talk about that one thing.
Yeah, just from the feminism perspective, the power exchange women and subservient cuckold men, which if I had our friend Chris's Lady Gaga gag sound effect, I would have to do it.
Yes.
Sorry, I can't. I'm not going to hide the way I feel about certain things, and I'm just not. And submissive men to me are just wrong. So yes.
I think what she's trying to say is that submissive men don't ring her bell.
No, that's not even. I mean, it's just sad. Wrong.
Well, I think even back in the good old days before feminism, there was still men who weren't very dominant. I mean,
right.
Just look at some of the genes out there. There's men that, and it's not so much even about an ugliness factor or a fat factor or any other kind of physical limitations. It's the actual personality themselves. And, I'm not sure that we can or should, try and control that or try to, I mean, I guess we do now have to teach men how to be men again because feminism stripped them of that for the last 30 years.
Right, but that's something different than what you're talking about, which is being born effeminate. I think back to like the court of Louis, etc. And they tended to be homosexuals, though. If you were heterosexual, you were a man.
Right.
And if you weren't, and you were even bisexual, well, then you tended towards the more effeminate and etc. and the more genteel of pursuits, etc. And that, there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
But submitting to a woman in that way, I guess it's once in a while as a play kind of thing. Your girlfriend ties you up and does stuff, and that's something completely different. But as a lifestyle, kneeling and the whole foot worshiping and the whole thing, it's just I just want to pop those girls in the nose and just I just can't. I have a very strong opinion of that, and that's just the way it is. So,
okay, all right.
I can't hold back. Especially when it comes to this sort of thing. I'm not going to be PC in 2014. I'm just not.
No,
I just can't.
No, that's fair enough. In this world of rights for everybody, then that should be no hard pill to swallow for anybody.
That's right. That's my right. That's right.
There you go.
And my rights have been trampled. Yes, by virtue.
Kitty rights have been trampled.
That's right. By virtue of everybody else screaming and screeching for theirs.
Well, now explain something to me because I'm a little unclear on something.
Sure.
I've been actually over the day today because we knew we were going to do this show all day.
Right.
I've been kind of mulling over what rights really are. Mm-hmm. We talk about the rights and the Constitution and the rights, the human rights. Amnesty International and human rights globally.
Right. Sure, especially with the passing of Nelson Mandela, now it's been a resurgent in that interest. Sure.
Right. What aside from the actual definition of the word, where are these rights? Something interesting, and I know you guys do it here in America with your Constitution. your Supreme Court judges, as well as ours in Canada, will actually strike down sections of
that's crazy.
Their own country's rights just to make rulings in various cases, both civil and criminal. And those judges are empowered, I believe, to strike down certain sections of the Constitution and certain sections of the Canadian Constitution for a period up to and including 5 years.
That's insanity to us.
Well, the question that I have then is...
Although maybe they're right and we're not.
Well, maybe they are right. I mean, what really are rights, and what how do we sit there and go, well, we've got rights, but yet all you do is we every time we turn around, every single day there's another news story about some politician or some government move that's taken away more rights. We don't do anything about it. We don't have a revolution. We don't get our guns that we all hold dearly in that Second Amendment.
Get our DirecTV.
We don't go and kill Canadians and Americans.
Right.
So what is it? If you're not going to have a revolution, obviously it's not worth fighting for. Well, if it's not worth fighting for, then it's not rights anymore.
Well, what is your question exactly?
Why does... I'm going to stick to the North American society, but I'm really talking about global. Why does the North American society feel any kind of safety or comfort in the fact that they think they have rights when really the definition of rights is completely subjective and can change from Monday to Tuesday? Okay.
If I may, I don't think, first of all, I think that that's not a question of rights, because here's the rub. It's not only like you say, it changes from Monday to Tuesday, etc. The entire idea is a complete and total fallacy, because with rights comes responsibility. Okay? And we all forget that. Oh, I want my right to have a big gulp that's 75 ounces.
Right.
And I want my right to smoke in a school bus. And we don't care about what happens. And we don't care about who else's rights are trampled on by the acquisition of these rights that we feel we should have either.
Right. And I mean, there is certainly, you're going to side with me on this, there's certainly a heck of a lot more rights than there ever was.
I disagree. I think there's far less. We don't even have the right to free speech anymore. Because with the advent of political correctness, that has struck down the right to free speech.
But on the other side of the coin, that same political correctness has given all these minorities and groups rights and
No, they
parades.
Just mean that we can't tease them. That's all political correctness is.
Okay.
We can't, gay bash, and we can't subject, and we can't have a valid opinion of disagreement with any group. That's what political correctness has done. It's not empowered anyone. It's emasculated our society as a whole. Men, women, children, animals, you name it.
Right.
Because by being, the very definition of being PC means that, someone's rights are going to be negated.
Absolutely.
If I'm not allowed to speak about, if I'm not allowed to say the N-word, well, that's all great for the black people, but where's my right to free speech?
And how come they can say it without any
impunity?
Ramifications?
Right, whatever. But, I'm just using that as an example. But the same thing goes for, if I can't, say death to feminists, where's my right to be a feminine traditional housewife then? You can't, political correctness will always choose a side. So thereby definition, it's not politically correct. And it's a fallacy, folks. It's a fallacy.
Just cancels itself out.
That's right. And, it goes back to like what I was bringing up earlier. And I have nothing against gays, and we just use it as an example, obviously, because that's so prevalent in the media now with the gay marriage and all the things like that.
Right.
But, gay marriage has taken my right to raise my son in a traditional environment away. Because when I go to a school function, I have to explain to him why Sally has 2 mommies and why Jimmy has 2 daddies. And, it's my right to raise him traditionally with the concept of a father and a mother. And that's been removed from me because I have to explain this now.
Well, how so? I mean, hopefully you haven't married a gay man for a husband. So he's not going to do what so many have done before and
When
stick
we
with you for
grew
7
up-
or 10 years and then, oh, honey, I'm gay, and get a divorce and break the family up. And then you've got that whole nightmare.
No, but that's another problem with rights. Everybody thinks that marriage is a merry-go-round.
I
And it's
really think that if you want to be legally recognized as man and wife or husband and wife or however you want to state it or call it, if you enter into that holy matrimony and you want to be recognized by the government, I think you should be held accountable by that same government for the longevity of that commitment. And I think there should be penalties, and I'm not just talking about women going after men for child support.
Right.
I think there should be equal penalties across the board to anybody who breaks that agreement.
Right. I think that's part and parcel. I mean, initially it was about getting the benefits when the partner died and not being recognized by insurance companies or employers or things of that nature.
Right.
But you're right. It should hold true on the other end of the spectrum then. Who gets the kids? Who pays the support? Because it used to be the moms. What if there's two? Which mom is the better mom if they divorce? Now what are we going to do?
There's a good question.
So, I mean, it just opens up a whole new can of worms that, to me, is just not necessary.
Wow.
It's just not necessary. And, like the feminists, children need a male and a female.
Sure.
Or if, and I've always said, I don't care if it's two mommies or two daddies, but there's got to be one nurturer and one authoritarian that a child needs to grow up whole.
Okay.
And I don't care if it comes from, the dog and the mother.
Yeah.
But
well, hold on to that thought. We're going to go for our 2-minute break. We'll be right back, folks.
The Chevy Cruze offers an EPA estimated 36 mpg highway. That's crazy.
Crazy efficient.
10 standard airbags.
And you get StabiliTrak with traction control.
That is like crazy protection. This interior is
insane.
It is insane. I was going to say crazy again.
Visit your local Chevy dealer today. Right now, get this great lease on a 2013 Chevy Cruze LS for around $149 a month.
4th down, Coach. What do we do?
I'll tell you what we do.
I want you to go on the field. Look for anyone with an O.
Let's kill them with kindness. Jimmy, I want you to make balloon animals. Tyler, make little tea cozy, something fun.
Are you okay?
We will win this for Mother Russia!
Coach, eat a Snickers.
Why is that, Chief?
You get a little loopy when you're hungry. Better.
Now let's go for it!
Go get him, guys!
You're not you when you're hungry. Snickers satisfies.
When you have cable and your picture freezes, you get irritable. When you get irritable, your work suffers. When your work suffers, the wrong man is convicted. When the wrong man is convicted, he has time to think. When he has time to think, he thinks about you a lot. And when he thinks about you a lot, your house explodes. Don't have your house explode. Get rid of cable and upgrade to DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
Hey, look at that new Toyota.
Look at that new Toyota.
Ain't nobody got time for that. Civic, you better look at this new Toyota Corolla. Now, you can get a 2013 Corolla with 0% financing. Or lease this Corolla LE for just $179 a month.
Look at that new Toyota.
Toyota, let's go places.
HTLA Radio 1.
And there we go. We are back from the commercial. How does it feel?
Awesome. It feels good. It feels great to be able to be independent.
I got to say, I've been not really digging the more
work.
What's the word? The more manual approach.
Right.
Yeah. But I do have to say this, that, through our years and time at BlogTalk Radio, through our years and time at TalkShoe, through our years and time now at Spreaker, one thing that has always bothered me about doing our shows through them is that we were always handcuffed in the sense that we were completely at their mercy if their servers were up, if the shows would broadcast without any glitches, reverb, echoing, strange, anomalous sounds coming from nowhere.
Not to mention guest scheduling had to be, to the minute.
which was very annoying.
Stressful with celebrity schedules.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you have maybe, bad technical connections with that connection or something else
right.
tertiary from the show.
Mm-hmm.
And it just seems to me that, while those tools out there on the web are good to a point, there comes a point, especially when you're doing this for a business, yes, for money,
yes.
When you just can't have those things. You need the absolute minimum possibility of error.
Correct.
And I got to say, I am really sincerely enjoying the fact that now the sum and total of the control of the show and how it sounds and looks and feels and everything else, we've got actually 100% control of that now.
Well, I knew that he would. And of course, he never listens to me until after.
Yes.
And then he'll try and he's like, oh, why didn't I do this sooner? And that's our marriage.
Yeah.
Pretty much. That's it.
So you are listening to HTLA Radio 1, and this is, of course, Monday, so it is Straight Talk with Kate and Crash.
Mm-hmm.
I am Kate, and this is your lovely host, Crash.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Smoking in the studio.
Smoking in the studio.
So before the break, we were talking about, the sanctity of marriage and how, if you're going to want the right to be, recognized by the government in your marriage, whether you're gay, straight, transsexual, alien, if you want to marry your dog, whatever the case may be.
Right.
That when it comes time to dissolve that marriage, which seems to be every bit as popular, if not almost more so now, in divorce, I think you should be held accountable.
Well, you know what? Just as feminism did not see the backlash and the destruction of the implementation of it for 30 years, just wait. Because you thought the children of feminists and single mothers were screwed up. Just wait. Because the courts have not yet had an influx of same-sex divorces and who gets the kids. It was very simple. Children stay with the nurturing mother till a certain age. Because there's a reason for that. They need the nurturing mother. And
now it's going to come down to who's got the better attorney for the argument when it's two mothers.
That's right. And not only that, but what if it's two fathers? There's no nurturing mothers for that baby.
Well, then wouldn't the state or the country have to supply one?
No.
To give the kid a fair shake, they would.
Yes, but that's not going to happen.
It would have to be a court-appointed mother to take over for those two guys.
Do you know what I think? I think that until there are no more starving people in this country, until everybody has a job and a home and heat and water and food, and that every child actually has an education, that there should be no talk about this frivolous baloney, that it's just not necessary.
Priorities.
That's right. I mean, really? I don't care that a baker wouldn't make you a cake. I have kids down the block from me that have no coats for wintertime, and that if they eat once every 2 days, they're lucky. And that's what we need to be focusing on, And maybe because we don't have all that extraneous nonsense to worry about and to fight for, etc., because we actually have a traditional life, it's pretty easy. I do make dinner, and we do sit down at 6 o'clock every night like a family, because that's my job. We focus more on those issues. How can we help them, and what can we do to make that better, and things like that.
Or maybe here's an idea. Here's just a little squiggly thought too. We're ranked 38th in the world for education. We might want to bring that up a little.
Yeah, but how are we going to do that? We're so concerned that Joe and John get their cake for their wedding.
Well, now, and this brings me back to something a couple of Straight Talks ago, where we talked about that teacher who got fired because the kid claimed sexual harassment for a hug.
No, it was the other way around. The kid got suspended for hugging the teacher, and his lips brushed her neck, and she screamed sexual harassment.
There you go.
And the kid got expelled from school for a year.
There you go. That's right.
Really? You can shove your PC stuff up your behind. It's just gone too far now. You people are pathetic, neurotic. We can't even function anymore in society, go out our own front doors without arming ourselves with every imagined right and stuff that there is. It's just too much. It really gets unbearable to me sometimes to read the news and to see this stuff and to think about this stuff.
Well, and why wouldn't it?
Right?
For such a country that claims itself so free.
Oh, God, and it's so not. You people are so deceiving yourself. Oh, my God, it's not even funny. It's just not even funny. You know, why don't you worry about the fact that Obama still hasn't brought anybody home after 8 years? You know, he got into office, and that was his promise within, 45 days? It's been 8 years.
No, the promise was actually within 90 days.
Oh, sorry.
And
okay.
what in fact actually happened, you see, I
he
was actually...
signed more.
I was an Obama supporter in 2008, you know?
Me too.
And pretty much the majority of his campaign at the end was he was bringing the troops home within 90 days.
And that was important to us.
Very important to us. And when he got in, you know, Oprah cried and I was happy too. Mm-hmm. But then 30 days to the day from his inauguration, he signed an order sending 75,000 more troops.
Right, and that was
to the same ridiculous, redundant wars
and
that we have been in
for
the last 9 years.
Yeah.
And he won a Peace Prize for it.
And that was it. I've been done with this country for a really long time. I'm a pro-European. I always have been. You know, so, you know, this is no longer the greatest country in the world because it's populated by people that are too selfish to keep it that way. Well, and it's not the politicians.
Here's something else that's interesting, too. Our economy is in such the tank right now.
Yeah.
Has been for what? A decade?
Yeah, getting on there, yeah. Year so. 2005, I think.
This was not just the home of the brave and the land of the free. Mm-hmm. This was also the place where you came from around the world to be a capitalist. Mm-hmm. To get in on those factories, to get in on that industry, to get in on those markets.
We don't even manufacture stuff here anymore.
Everything is in China now.
Yep.
So what is it? We all got laid off from the factories and we got nothing better to do now than sit on Social Security and bitch about rights?
I think that's it.
Is that it?
Perhaps. Yeah.
Because it seems to me that if half of the activists that go around trying to change everybody's lives for the quote-unquote better, if they spent their time... I don't know.
Staying at home with their kids.
Working on the economy.
From home.
Working on, well, hell, working on anything.
That's right. Yeah.
I don't think the country would be in the economic rut it's in.
No, and there's been great suggestions and solutions to stuff. Like you said, bring the troops home. There's our police force. There's our medical personnel. There's our,
We're already paying them. Why not?
That's right. And... just something as simple as that could tip the scales immensely in our favor, and we can recover within, a couple of years.
200 years, yeah.
No, a couple, I think. At least be back on our feet enough where everyone isn't below the poverty line.
We could hope.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just unbelievable. And that's it. But see, that's why this lifestyle also to us, it ties in with all these social things too. And it was through the living of this lifestyle that we discovered, well, it works here, it's not working there. And, what are the contributing factors to why it's not working? And, common denominators and things like that. And that's how we've kind of come to a great deal of our points about things too. We just don't spout stuff because we're prejudicial in our, in our opinions. We have beliefs based in experience and objective observation. I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, right. We've kind of gone off for the last segment and a half about rights and all these other things.
Right. Truly. I don't have any rights here, so maybe that's why I don't care.
Well, see, and that's kind of what I was going to get to. Here you are.
Mm-hmm. We don't live in a democracy in this house.
No.
Oh, no. No, sir.
It's my way or the highway.
That's right.
What I say goes. Mm-hmm. If you get into trouble, you go over the knee and you get spanked. Mm-hmm. And not just, with my hand. Mm-mm. I use belts and paddles and various other implements to hammer my point home for any infractions that you might do. But here's the thing: this lifestyle, although it's apparently traditional, isn't accepted by even my male friends.
Right. Well, look at how you were when we first got married, too, though.
You know, that they have to ask the wife permission to
that.
go to the football game.
Right. Those friends. Right.
Right.
Yeah. Your macho friends.
And of course, you know, they try and joke with me that, I'm just as whipped as they are. When they say whipped, they're talking pussy whipped, which is the term of the last several decades of the woman being the head of the household.
Right.
You know, what she says goes. So you have to ask permission like a good little boy to go to the football game with your friends.
Right.
Yeah. That's something that I have a hard time with, and my male friends just don't understand.
Me too. I couldn't be married to somebody who would be like that. I just wow. Nope.
Right.
Couldn't do it.
So now I'm sitting here thinking, wow, I can really feel the oppression of being a gay man. See where I'm going?
Uh-huh.
Right? This traditional lifestyle, which was so accepted in the 50s and 60s and long before that.
Hello, yeah, cavemen, hello.
Now all of a sudden, you're the outlander.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Right. Our house is so harmonious, well, mostly. It's so harmonious, and it flows well, and everybody has their roles, and they know what they're supposed to be doing. And we're all for one and one for all, and we would never, ever put anyone outside of this house before the people inside of it. And, you know, there's so much love and respect, and it's not even funny. And I don't see that in any other family, in any other homes, in any other, you know, not to mention we live our passions every moment, and there's not a dull moment here. And, you know, we're not afraid to explore things and do things. And, you know, there's none of this, maybe have sex once a week thing. It's like 4 or 5 times a day because, you know, that's just, we live every minute passionately and it just comes out.
Well, you know, what I really sense and what I noticed the most, I think, is that, you know, we're living our lives to the most we can every day, which is what all those stupid little memes on Facebook say all day.
Right, yes.
So we do that, and we be you, be true, be fierce, for lack of a better term, and we live our authentic lives. That's like right. All these feminists out there are pushing. Yet when I post one little comment that indicates our lifestyle, I'm getting threats of child services and wife beating and domestic abuse and all this shit.
It's all baloney. Which I think will greatly be reduced in number now with the advent and mainstream going of the lifestyle, too.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't want to have to base my life happiness on a frickin' fad. Sorry.
Well, it's not a fad. That's what I'm saying.
That whole Christian, what's-his-face, 50 Shades of Stupid that's a fad.
That's true, but no. What that is a turning point to me and to others that I've been talking to in the lifestyle. And we'll get into it in one of the future shows. Because I will have experts on and not just, you know, sex people.
Ooh.
You know. Well, you know, I've got an education in psychology and sociology. I'm highly academic and I just don't talk from my butt. You know what I mean? So I'm very, very aware of societal trends and things like that. And, you know, this is the thing. Feminism's gone into a sort of an underground mode now. Now when you say feminism, they're starting to feel uncomfortable.
Right.
Because it's, you know, everything rotates and comes back around again. And feminism had its time, it had its purpose, and it's had its place. And I'm not saying that it didn't. I'm just saying that no one thought about what would happen when they took both parents out of the home. And now here we are.
Right.
And everybody recognizes that something needs to change. And just, what was it? One of the big papers, New York Times, or one of those big papers like that, just did a multi-series article on the reversal of society's attitudes towards feminism, and that more young couples are going the traditional marriage route now and opting for a traditional life and traditional family. And it's not just a fad. Like I said, Gabrielle Reese came out with her book, and something about Cinderella slipper doesn't fit. I can't remember the title now. And, you know, Rihanna did all that 180, you know, that Chris Brown got accused of domestic abuse, and her publicist forced her to say that it was that, and then she did an entire album about being into S&M and how, no, he was just her dom and it was okay, and, you know, all this stuff, and they got back together, and, you know, and so it's all going to come out now. This is just, you know, kind of like our time, I think, to come out now, you know.
Well, okay.
I do. I honestly
we can
do.
hope.
Yeah, I honestly. Well, yeah, we can hope. You know, maybe not in our lifetime or even our daughters, but maybe our sons. I don't know. Maybe his kids. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know. So.
Sure.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's kind of what it is. And you know, we don't live this lifestyle to tout on a soapbox. Honestly, this is just this is what we do and this is what we live. And you know, the show that we're doing though is meant to be exciting and arousing and freeing, kind of like my Sex and the Kitty show is. I teach you how to live your most authentic self. And I'm not talking Oprah authentic baloney.
No.
You know, I'm talking about you feel every sense and it's heightened and your awareness is fine-tuned and honed, and, you know, you really can make the most out of every moment of your life to your maximum benefit.
Right.
The key is living in the present moment, of course. You know, but you'll have to listen to the show. And this season's really good because it's all about change and things like that, you know. So the lifestyle is kind of like that, but it's much more sexual and deviant in its nature and things like that.
Absolutely right. And speaking of deviance, we've got to go for another commercial break. So we're going to get you a standby 2 minutes. We'll be right back, gang.
So do you guys think being fast is better than being slow?
Yes! It's better to be fast, to not be bitten by a werewolf, and then you'll be turned into one, and you'll have to stay in, and then you'll have to get shade because you'll be too hot, and then you're like, which means I wish I was back to a human.
What?
It's not complicated. Faster is better, and AT&T is the nation's fastest 4G LTE network for your iPhone 5.
With 160 more miles per tank, the distances aren't getting shorter. The trucks are going farther. The new 2013 Ram 1500. With the best-in-class fuel economy, engineered to move heaven and earth. Guts, glory, Ram.
I stood outside assessing the situation. I knew it could be rough in there, but how rough, there was no way to know for sure.
Hey, guys.
Daddy, it's pink!
But hey, a new house, it's a blank canvas, and we got a great one, thanks to a really low mortgage rate from Navy Federal Credit Union.
Pink?
So she's a princess. You got a problem with that?
Hoorah! Hoorah!
4 million members, 4 million stories. Navy Federal Credit Union.
The rich Sony sound and Vio. Sound out.
Well, there's that, of course.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us after that wonderful commercial break. You are listening to Straight Talk with Kate and Crash on HTLA Radio 1, New York City.
Mm-hmm.
Right now it's a frozen 26 degrees in Central Park.
Yes, it is. And snow is forecast. And everybody, please be careful tomorrow, New Year's Eve, because it's a brutal one.
Yeah.
Just be careful. It's going to be cold. It's going to be brutal. People are going to be on edge. And see, don't believe me, but I'm never wrong about this stuff. It's going to be a dangerous New Year's.
Well, you know, it's funny you're going to say this because this is good because this is being recorded. This show, it's going to be out to our site and everywhere else.
Right.
You can go on record right now if you like and let the meeps know.
I will.
Just how bad it is aspect wise there. For all you astrology peeps out there.
Stay in bed. Don't go. And if you do, be extraordinarily careful. Don't drink and drive. Don't come near anyone who's drinking and driving. You're going to find
Mars and Pluto are squaring my anus.
That's right. No, you're right, though.
I know.
Very good.
I remember.
I'm so proud of you, Daddy.
God of War and the Pluto dog.
Pluto, death and underworld and transformation and not for the good. And most painful, that's right. Yes.
Check that out. I got that right.
Extraordinary. Very, very well done.
Hot damn.
That's right.
Anyhow, you are listening to Straight Talk with Kate and Crash, and tonight's episode is the 2013 closeout edition of Straight Talk, our fourth season of this show, and broadcast to you in HD.
Yay.
And we're also video casting live right now.
Yes, we are. Which Daddy didn't tell me, so I didn't fix my face. I can't even tell you what I look like right now.
And she was talking about her panties on the break.
I was. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. So if you want to check that out, go to HTLA973.com and check out the video page. As always, you can get a hold of us via email if you have any comments or questions to anything on Straight Talk or any of our shows at HTLA. You can email me, ctaylor, at HTLA973.com. And hers truly, the Fierce Kitty, you can get a hold of at ktaylor at HTLA973.com.
How original.
Today, our show
we can tweet at...
Well, you can tweet at the Kitty973.
That's my personal Twitter, right? At Crash Talkin' is Daddy's.
And then, of course, you have the Fierce Kitty Kate.
Right.
It's another happy Twitter.
Right. No, yes. At Fierce Kitty.
No.
At Fierce Kitty Kate?
Fierce Kitty Kate.
What is Straight Talk? Is that Straight Talk 973?
It is.
Daddy's that social media wizard. I don't even have a clue.
I am. And you can also get a hold of me on Twitter at OMS Unfiltered.
Oh, that's right. Yes, that's a good one.
So today we're talking, because I guess we've run out of material for 2013, and we don't have a guest. We couldn't secure a guest before the...
No, we decided not to do guests until 2014.
Oh.
Yes.
I thought everybody was busy.
No, we don't want to do that. We wanted to, end the show on a nice, relaxed...
Well, that's true, too. That's true, yeah. We figure we'd give you a double helping of the Kate and Crash. That's
we're also going independent. If you've didn't hear the beginning of the show and you're just tuning in.
That's right.
We've cut our teats.
We've cut our teats.
We've cut our teats off. No, we are strictly independent now. Everything is produced and created in studio and uploaded directly to you. There are no third parties any longer. HTLA
I think we should,
one is what it is.
We'll still upload to iTunes and SoundCloud.
Oh, yeah,
and
you can always download us on iTunes.
Yeah, I think we'll still put up shows at Spreaker there just for the interim. We can just upload just to distribute.
Yeah, well, only until the Flash site is done.
Well, there you go.
Right, yes, sir.
And then we'll be hosting everything on our own server.
That's right.
That's right. Mm-hmm. So I guess we're still partially on the teat. Well, no, you still got to do marketing. Come on. Anyhow, this edition of Straight Talk, we have been talking about our lifestyle as it's pertaining to us and not the norm, because feminists roll over in their feminist graves.
Yes, they do.
When they hear about how things are around this house, and that's with me in charge.
That's right.
Yes, what I say goes, and when I punish the children, it sticks, even though this one tries to give the kids everything they want.
I do.
Yeah.
I'm the nurturer.
Yes.
It's my job.
That's absolutely right. So in our lifestyle, it involves discipline, and discipline involves corporal punishment, and corporal punishment involves over-the-knee spankings.
Lots of stuff.
Or on the bench, or tied up to the bed, or in that sauna upstairs.
That's my box.
In the box.
I haven't been in the box in a long time.
No, you've been fairly good.
No.
No, you haven't.
You've been busy.
Yeah, that's probably more to what it is. But anyway, that's the way things are around my house. And, it's funny because I was raised by a single mother, a feminist single mother.
Uber feminist single mother.
Who about feminist? And, it's funny because for 40 years and 40 nights... really until I met Kate, I didn't even really know what it was to be a man.
Aw. Thank you for saying that.
Well, I'm not thanking you.
But I mean, that was like a really awesome thing to say, though.
But it's true, though. And I mean, you stop and think about, the growth that I've gone through in the last 4 years.
Wow.
Personal growth.
Yes.
I'm not just talking about, our relationship and the lifestyle. I'm talking about, me as a person and things that I thought about myself and my surroundings and other people and their perspectives and motivations from a completely skewed, unrealistic, not male perspective.
Right.
And, to the point where I actually had girlfriends that hit me.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'll kill them.
No death threats on the air, dear. No, but it's true. You weren't allowed to hit women. You weren't allowed to hit women. That was drummed into my head from a very young age. You don't even touch a hair on their head without permission.
And I still abide by that. Our relationship, I think it's very critical to note, is completely and totally consensual. Well, and that...
Yeah, otherwise it would be domestic domestic violence, yeah.
Right. What did I tell him when we first got together? This is a consensual kind of thing, and here's the limits, and here's what we do, and it's safe, sane, and consensual, and done with the utmost of love and respect, and for a specific purpose.
Right.
It's training, it's not abuse,
Mm-hmm.
And I don't understand abused women. I don't understand the concept of anyone staying with somebody that would make them feel bad, even, let alone physically abuse them.
Well, and yet they do, and I think that could partially be, maybe, you're going to hate me for saying this, but it could be the fault of the traditionalists. Because all those men and women that split up, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All those traditional women who were still feminine, not feminist, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden find themselves on their own, and they have daughters.
No, I blame feminism for not raising men to be real men. If real men don't abuse women, they're the heads of their households, but they don't abuse women. So when you don't have a man who's raised to be a respectful, real man, they think that being a man is hitting women. And that's where the divergence comes from. That's where the abuse comes from.
Right.
Right. So, absolutely.
Interesting.
True.
And true.
That's right.
And you heard it here first.
That's right. Yes, sir.
There you go.
So anyway, you were saying...
No, what?
How before we met...
Well, I said it all. I mean, what more do you want? God, woman.
No, I mean, well, now here you are, and this is how it is, and et cetera, and I have rules, and all my good stuff. I mean, we are talking about... And I have
way more responsibility.
Right.
Yeah.
We're talking about the premiere of our new show, The Lifestyle, The Many Lives of Kink, and our first episode, obviously, is about power exchange relationships and, DS and all that stuff, and how we don't do the 50 Shades of Grey thing, but the principles are basically the same.
Well, and that's something we should qualify right off the top. BDSM is not DS.
That's right. Right. We live a dominant, submissive relationship. There's bondage and there's discipline, but there's not really any sadomasochism. It's not for that purpose.
No.
BDSM is a complete and total sexual undertone of a lifestyle and an activity, and domestic discipline, or DS, is not about the sex. It's about the power exchange and the roles and the training and the things like that, even though it has a very big sexual component, or else why do it if you don't get turned on by it? But
there you go.
Right, exactly. But that's not the point of it, and it's not the basis of it, and people confuse that such a great deal.
No, and I think one of the things that I appreciate the most about it, especially coming from where I came from and the perspectives that I had, I think that it's enabled me to grow in a healthy way.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I think maybe without it, it could have easily gone into a number of different directions that who knows where, me personally would have ended up in that process.
Right.
We have a schedule in the house every day. We have certain things at certain times that are every day without fail.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, at least they're supposed to be, but...
Yeah.
It's not my fault.
And the kids have their routine and their structure, and, all of these things come into play with the rules. You know, the kids have their own rules.
Right.
The wife has her rules. I don't have any rules.
No, Daddy makes the rules.
I make the rules.
That's right.
Which is very... I think that environment has actually... That one thing about the environment, more than anything, has allowed me to have the freedom to be able to grow to what I have in the last 4 years.
Right. I agree.
I think.
I can see that.
You know. But by the same token, that's not to say, and it's not to not say, that if I was hanging you up by anal suspension hooks for the last 3 years, it couldn't have gone that way. But I guess I am, because...
Well, it's going to go there. Eventually, we're going to get bored with just the basic stuff. I think.
Sure, but I think if you don't have that foundation that you keep talking about all the time,
right,
with the rules and the structure, and that consent, non-consent, I don't think... I'm mumbling. I'm not even my radio self
I think
anymore.
I
just lost
understand.
myself. But
no, I disagree. I think I understand exactly what you're saying. That, you know, it's that basic foundational structure that's rooted in the respect and the limits and the disgust that keep you from going, you know, off the reservation doing crazy stuff that might be damaging or too fast, too soon, or whatever. It's a process for both of us.
Absolutely.
It's a learning. It's a structure in which we can both grow. That there's complete trust and complete safety and security to do these things.
And you know what? Complete honesty.
And complete honesty. That's right. And that's a tough thing. And this is the reason that I won't have a relationship that isn't this way, and probably why I stayed single for 10 years before we met. Because don't forget, I did the feminist single mother thing for 10 years.
Yeah.
And I'm the first person to admit that I suck as a dad. You know, and that's it. So, and my daughter, who's 13 now, she had immense problems. And it was because I couldn't be mother and father and work and go to school and do everything. We just can't. And if you think you can, you're fooling yourself.
Right.
You know, you can be 100% of one thing, but you can't be 100% of more than one thing. So, you know, I've chosen to be 100% nurturer mother, and he can be 100% authoritarian father. And it works. And that's how children grow up healthy and whole. You know, I don't fool myself into thinking that I can do both. But, you know, so I've done all that. But now she's blossomed with that structure and all that. And I think we all have, you know, because it's created that safety net. Well, here's our boundaries. Here's our rules. Here's our restrictions. You know, as long as we operate within that, you know, we're safe and we're okay and we can grow.
Right.
But there's a level of trust that comes from this relationship that you cannot get in what I call vanilla surface relationships. You just can't.
Right.
You know, the very act that I put my physical life in his hands every night, you know, every moment, you know, and aside from, you know, in the intimate moments, he's responsible for the safety of every member of this family, you know.
Absolutely. And
I am tasked with the care and the nurture of every member of this family. Everybody's fed. Everybody, you know, nobody gets sick. We're all well, you know, thank God for all these things. So we have our roles and our responsibilities, and they work together to create a whole, you know, and the level of trust that incurs. You know, he doesn't worry about me going out to bars and cheating and vice versa, and he doesn't worry about me, you know, chatting online with some other guy and vice versa, you know. Crikey, he doesn't have time. As it is, I'm not worried about it, you know. And it's just, we don't worry about those things.
And it's it's interesting that you say that, because we don't worry about those things. I can remember 6, 7, 8 years ago having relationships where that was like a major concern every day.
Right.
And the stress and everything of, oh, geez, did I pick up that for her? And did I do the dry cleaning? And did I, you know,
right? All
that stuff is gone, and it's replaced with what now feels like I should have been doing all along.
Right.
And it's funny because, you know, I've had relationships since I was like 16, 15 years old, right through to 43 before I met you, or 42. Mm-hmm. And in that span of time, it's all been that stuff. It's all been that stressful stuff. And while some relationships lasted as long as 6 years, the vast majority of them didn't last longer than 6 months.
Right.
And something I noticed when I was, hitting around 40 years old is my girlfriends were still 20 years old. And that made me stop and go, wait a minute, why is that? And I was in no way, shape, or form to actually be growing there, but it actually hit me like a frying pan when I was about 40, 41. Why are my girlfriends still 20? And that was kind of telling at the time. And then, well, we'll get back into the rest of that when we come back from our next commercial break. Back in 2 minutes, gang. Hang on.
Hi, welcome to Toyota. I'm Jan.
Hi, Jack's gonna pick us a car.
Yeah, Toyotas are so reliable, he could drive it one day. Great timing. It's our Toyota Time Sales event.
Camry, gonna save, reliable. What color?
Oh, red with a cool stereo. We have that.
Now you can get a new 2013 Camry with 0% financing. Or lease this Camry LE now for just $209 a month. And you get Toyota Care 2-year maintenance. Toyota, let's go places.
The images you're about to see may be difficult to look at. Sadly, every year millions of innocent cakes are mangled, mistreated, and hurt. But there is something you can do. Go to the freezer section and pick up new Cool Whip frosting. It's whipped, fluffy, and perfectly sweet, so it spreads on easily, leaving cakes unharmed. Please help. Cool Whip frosting. Together, we can change the way cakes are frosted.
It's a stick revolution. Now skin goes shine-free and naturally matte in just one step. New Fit Me Stick Foundation from Maybelline, New York. The first of its kind. Fresh gel foundation with an anti-shine powder core inside. Dissolves oil while it blends to a natural matte finish. For coverage that's fresh, flawless, one step perfect. New Fit Me Stick Foundation from Maybelline.
Stick with us.
Maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's Maybelline.
What are we going to do today?
Stay strong. Take on the heat. Bounce back.
Get healthy-looking hair that stands up to styling. Discover Platinum Strength, new from Tresemme. It repairs up to 2 years of damage by reinforcing hair's natural protective barrier. For resilient hair with all its beautiful strength. What will you do with your salon-strong, chair-worthy hair? Tresemme. Professional. Affordable.
HTLA Radio 1.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, we are.
With another fine Monday edition of Straight Talk with Kate and Crash on HTLA Radio 1, New York.
Yay.
There we go. Now, what were we discussing during the break?
That when you were 41, you realized you were still dating 20-year-olds.
That's right.
Right.
Damn, that was good.
And now I guess the whole world will know I'm only 2 years younger than you. But.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Well, you don't have to go out and win any age contests that I know of.
No, that's okay. I don't look it, so I don't care.
No, this is true.
I certainly don't act it.
No.
So, right. Yes, I'm still 14.
So we had a pretty important bit of the conversation during the commercial break. Take us back to what that was.
That was I was very glad you brought up the honesty and respect and trust portion of the lifestyle, because that's the core of it.
Right.
And more important to be honest with yourself, because you have to be honest with yourself so you can grow forth into your wholeness.
Well, and that's a good thing too, because you have no idea how much stress that takes off of me.
I do. I've been telling you for years.
To be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Be
I'm
me,
so proud of you.
Be me, be tree, be fierce, whatever.
Oh, and he's fierce. It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's start to sum this up. We've only got about 6 minutes before we're out of time for this last of 2013 edition of Straight Talk.
We should count down. Yes. What?
Well, let's try and wrap this show up in a nice tight bow.
Okay.
I think one of the main important things we should do is that we're not, we don't get a commission. We're not trying to sell our lifestyle on anybody else.
No, not at all.
We're not necessarily trying to convert
I don't recommend it unless you know yourself really well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And of course, it also should be noted that you have psychological training.
Right.
And that, I was lucky enough to get that magic mix of having you not only introduce me to the lifestyle and all of its accoutrement, but to really help me in a personal way to attain a lot of that growth that I was lacking.
Right.
For a great many years. And,
Right. Well, I think that, I was incredibly lucky to find you because for 10 years, like I said, I stayed single rather than be with just anybody.
Right.
And, we met and that spark was there. And I knew even before you did that you were the one and that this is how you were going to be and this is what you needed. And I think the lifestyle forced you to live up to those things that heretofore you didn't have the tools to make work, nor did you have the environment that you really needed to do that. So we always take the path of least resistance. So
or that I even could if I wanted to make that choice.
Right.
If I had come across a website somewhere all about domestic discipline and the head of the household and all that good stuff, if I had actually found that stuff on my own,
right,
coming from where I was at any given point in time, I would have just glanced over it and went, wow, okay, that's weird, next.
Right.
Because I didn't... When you're only this big...
You might have said...
And you need to be this big to be able to see what you need to see.
Right.
You can't see it down here, so it doesn't matter how much exposure you have to something. If you're not seeing it in the right perspective, you're not going to get it.
Right. I think you might have said, "Oh, that's nice," and yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll
like
try that
I said
sometime.
about
Right.
most things,
Right.
It's like the gay thing. Well, that's nice. You're gay. That's great. I don't have to sleep with you.
Right.
Why does it matter? Why are you telling me?
Right.
And for those more flamboyant ones out there, you don't need to tell me. I can figure it out.
Right.
But I think this journey over the last 20 years, particularly with homosexuals, but also with feminists and numerous other groups, too numerous to mention, is they have been seeking that spotlight. They've been seeking the parade. They've been seeking the limelight. Now they've got it. Everything is great.
Very good point. Why is that? Because why? And what do I always say? And what is the one thing this lifestyle has given us? There's no substance elsewhere. There's no substance. There's no substantive thing inside of them that they can lean on and rely on. And so they seek association and acceptance.
Right.
And they have to have their parade and they have to have the rights and they can't just be them, be true.
Be authentic.
Right, exactly.
They've got to be in a mob.
Exactly. And they've got to shout it out and they've got to have their parades. I don't need a parade for being a white housewife.
For lack of a better term, they need their cake and eat it too.
Right. Very true.
Getting back to dictating to companies who they can and can't sell to.
Right. But doesn't this lifestyle provide us the substance, though, that I know even I on my own was lacking, too? Because it's not just you that have grown. Obviously, it's me finding that, security to be vulnerable, something that as a feminist I wasn't allowed to be. I didn't have the luxury of being those things.
No.
Either. Or else everybody'd starve and die. But
also
now,
true.
right, that I have this wonderful relationship, I'm allowed to be those things also.
There you go, gang. There you have it. New Year's 2014. We've got it all in a bag of chips here.
That's right.
So for myself and Kate and Crash and Straight Talk and 2013 and Kitty, we're signing out. So thank you for tuning in. We'll see you all here next year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I would like to thank HTLA Radio 1 for keeping us bringing you issues that matter with the people to whom they matter most. And, of course, a huge thank you to our sponsors and supporters. And we're nothing without you, our listeners. Last but not least, the one I can never forget because I'd be in big trouble if I did, my one-of-a-kind, forever everything, producer, co-host, and husband. In case you people didn't know, he's my husband. Christopher Crash Jesus Taylor, you are the best. So be sure to tune in next Monday, Meeps, because you never know who's going to show up on Straight Talk to talk straight. Take my love with you as you go, and be you, be true, and be fierce kitties. Good night.